All right, y'all. So I wanted to work through the review with you guys and show you some tricks that I use that help me pass the review for chapter 12. So I don't do it any way that the class has taught us. I kind of learned on my own some tips and tricks how to answer these questions. And I'm probably going to go a little fast, so if you got to rewind it, pause it, take notes, whatever. It's only 20 questions, so we should get it done fast. Okay, so for this question, um, all we're doing is finding the z-score. So use z-scores to determine which person has a higher IQ. And remember, z-scores are the score itself minus the mean divided by the deviation. So we're going to do 132 minus 100 and then minus the mean, or divided by the deviation. Oh shit. Divided by the deviation, that gives us 2.2. That's our IQ. And then for test B, we have 131 minus 100 divided by the deviation of 18, which is 1.7. So obviously test A has the higher IQ of 2.2. Okay, so for these, I literally just memorized the answer and I know the answer is D. And you're probably going to get it on the test. So just remember this answer for this question. Determine whether the following statement makes sense or does not make sense. Explain the reasoning. The mean can be misleading if you don't know the spread of the data. I just remember that this answer has parentheses. So the statement makes sense because there may exist some outliers, maybe much greater or much less than the rest of the data in the data items. I just remember this one has a parentheses. It's going to be right. Okay, also I've memorized this answer as well. I know the answer will be randomly select 100 cards. Okay, so this question is asking you to obtain a random sample of 100 students from the entire population. Remember, when you're selecting students to do like a survey or anything, it has to be random. So obviously there's only two answers here that have random. So this one, post an advertisement requesting the assistance of 100 students. Among the first 100 students to arrive, select them in random order. This one kind of makes sense, but it's a little biased because not everybody shows up to school early or on time. So you're only going to be getting the answer from the first 100 people. Now, this one, randomly select 100 cards. Assign each student a school number. Write each number on a card and place all the cards in a box. Then randomly select 100 cards. This is more random, more fair, so you'll get a better result for the whole population. But then again, I just memorized his answers, so um, study that, memorize it, use it for the test. For this one, I'm not reading all that, but it's pretty simple. So the percentage of buyers who paid between 20,000 and 23,000. Obviously, we're gonna look 20,000 to 23,000. That falls in between the 99.7%. So all you literally have to do is divide that number into two. So 99.7 divided by 2, which is half of it, 48.8 or 49.85. and then you want to type the exact answer. So y'all want to pay attention to if they need you to round or type the exact answer. 49.85. And sorry if I'm not explaining this stuff right, or like I'm struggling. I don't normally make videos like this. But this goes for the same on each percentage. So sometimes it'll ask you between 22,000 and 23,000. Obviously, that falls in between 68. So half of 68 is obviously 34. And then if they ask you 21 to 23, obviously that's half of 95. So this one was specifically asking for 20 to 23,000, which is between this one. That's why I divided that in half. And here's where we get to analyzing the data. So if we remember from the section homework, mid-range is literally the highest number plus the lowest number divided by 2. So if we look here, the highest number here is 94. The lowest number here looks like it's 88. So we got 94 plus 88 divided by 2. It's 91. That's your mid-range. Okay, here's where it gets a little fun. So I know you can't really see it. I'm going to kind of show you a little closer. So we're looking at this chart here, and we're trying to find the mean, median, mode, and mid-range. And I'm about to show y'all some cool tricks to how to get this answer. So for this, I'm just going to blow it up for y'all so you can see it better. Obviously, we're not going to analyze anything with 0, so 9 and 16 are already out. We're not analyzing it because there's no frequency there. There's a frequency of 0. So we're only looking at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So obviously 10 corresponds with the frequency of 3. 11 also corresponds with the frequency of 3. 12 with 4. 13 with 5. 14 with 3. And 15 with 2. So to make things easier, I'm just going to write it down. So obviously we're going 10 through 15, and we have 3, 3, 4, 5, 3, and 2. Okay, so we're going to do some cool tricks. So the first step is to click the list button here. And then you want to click the number 1 for edit. So the frequency goes in L2, and then the data that you're analyzing, the 10 through 15, goes in L1. So I'm just going to go 10, hit enter, 11, enter, 12, enter, 13, enter, 14, and 15. And we're going to go over to the L2, and then the frequency that we analyzed was 3, 3, 4, 5, 3, and 2. So now we have all of our data in this chart looking thing. So you want to hit list again. You want to go over to the calc tab, and then you want to click option 1 for var stats, whatever that means. So click the number 1 for that option. Our list is already put here, so we just hit enter. And to get the L2 here, all we're going to do is click second and the number 2. You see there's L2 right here, so hit number 2. That puts your L2 there, and you're going to hit enter and enter again, and you get all of this information about what we just put in. So right here at the top, I don't know why the symbols are the symbols, but I can just tell you right now, X with this hyphen over it, 12.4, that's the mean of the data. SX is the, oh, what is that? The standard deviation. So 1.56, that is the standard deviation. This number means something, but I forgot. And then if you scroll down, it gives you the median of the data. And then this Q3 right here, that is the mode of the data, I believe. It's something, but it means something. But we're focusing mainly on the mean, the median, and stuff like that. So it's asking for the mean, which was 12.4. The median of the data, we scroll down, is 12.5. The mode of the data, which is the highest point on the graph, is 13. So that's your mode. And then the mid-range of the data, obviously we just did that question, so we know it's the highest number of the data that we're analyzing added to the lowest number of the data divided by the two numbers. So you have 15 plus 10, which is obviously 25, and then 25 divided by 2 is 12.5. And if you somehow forget, obviously, we can look and just look at the middle. And the middle of that is 12.5, in between 12 and 13. That's your mid-range. Also, I memorized this answer. So if you want to write it down, I'm just going to go through it. It's moving out the mean value. The heights of the bars are the same to the left and the right. I just memorized it. Don't ask me how. Okay, so now we're getting into margin of error. And if you remember from the section, margin of error is a fraction. So it's 1 over that little thingy, 888. So on the calculator here, we're going to, oh wait. Get your fraction, 1 over second, and this little thing is what I was talking about, 888. That's the margin of error. Obviously, it gives you a decimal, so we have to move it 2 places to the right, which you get 3.4, I believe. Don't round until, so round until the nearest tenth. So yeah, it's 3.4. And then all we're doing here, the margin of error is plus or minus this number to whatever data point we're analyzing. So it says there's 95% confidence that between a number or a percent and another percent of all adults in the country favor to restrict ammunition purchases. So if we can see here, we zoom in. Who wants to restrict ammunition purchases? Which is 49% right here. So all we're doing, remember, plus or minus, 49 plus 3% and 49 minus 3.4% are these two answers. So it's already in percent form, so we don't need to change it to a decimal. So 49 minus 3.4 and 49 plus 3.4 are your two answers. So 45.6% and 52.4%. Oh, my memory sucks. Okay, so this one, we're also going to be using the calculator trick again with the list that we use. And I'm just going to show you the formula for how to input the mean. So we have these numbers, but we don't have these numbers. So we have to find these numbers that go into L2. So I'm just going to write these numbers down real quick so I don't have to go back and forth. 150, 168, 188, 190, 198, 246. The mean is 190. Okay, so we're going to go to list. Hit 1. Let's delete all these things because we don't need them anymore. So in my L1, it's 150, 168, 188, 190, 198, and 246. And now we're still going to use L2, but you see how it's in this white space here? We want to move this to this part here because we're going to input a formula right here. So in this spot, we're using the mean. So the equation for that is L1 minus the mean. So we have L1 minus 190. So how we get L1 here, we're going to do second, the number 1, minus 190. That's the mean, and it's going to put all of the information that we need here in L2. So those are the missing numbers that we need to put down here. So we have negative 40, negative 22, negative 2, 0, 8, and 56. And that's all we need to do on this screen. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these numbers there. So we had negative 40, negative 22, negative 2, 0, 8, and 56. And now here is just asking you the sum of the deviations. These are the deviations right here, so we're going to add these up. Obviously, it's going to equal 0, but just to show you guys. So you have negative 40 plus negative 22 plus negative 2 plus 0 plus 8 plus 56. That should equal 0. Okay, so we're using the same things that we've been doing. All we're doing is finding the standard deviation of these numbers. And you have to keep in mind that you have two number 22s. So you have 120, two 22s, and 127. So when you input it into your list here, let's delete all these. So we have 20, 22, and 27. 20, 22, 27. So remember, we had 120, we had two 22s, and 127. So remember, we hit list again to find the standard deviation. We go over to the Calc tab and just click option 1. And it's already here from the last time, so we don't have to do that second 2 again. Enter, enter. And remember, the standard deviation is SX. That is a symbol for standard deviation, which is 2.98 or 2.99. You want to round 2 decimal places. So just to be sure, we have 2.986. That rounds to 2.99. Okay, so we're finding the upper limit. I'm not going to read the whole question, but it's asking to identify the upper limit of the 10th class. So I don't know if y'all can see this. So all we're doing is counting, 10 spaces here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is the last row here. So the upper limit from 55 to 59, obviously 59 is the highest number. So the upper limit is 59. Also, I memorized this answer as well. I'm not going to explain it. Just pause it, write it down, memorize it for the test, because I'm pretty sure this will be on the test. So this answer is the mid-range is the value that is representative of a data set. It is found by subtracting the lowest number and the highest number. Oh wait, sorry, it's not that one. Hold on. It's actually this one. The mid-range is the value that is representative of a data set. It is found by adding the lowest number and the highest number and dividing by the sum by 2. And for this one, it's more of a visual question. So we have a frequency of 3, so I'll look for 3 on here. That is 2. This one is 3. The next one is 2, which is right. The next one is 1. This one's right. 2, this is right. 3 again, that's right. 7, that's right. 4, this one's right. The other ones aren't right. Okay, same thing here. We're just looking for a 3, 2, a 1, a 2, 3, 7. Boom. This one, I don't really know how to do it the way they taught us, but standard deviation is 8. What score is 1/2 above the mean? So we're calculating the deviation above this number. So half of 8 obviously is 4. So a half standard deviation above the mean is going to be 4 plus 44, or 4 plus 40, which is 44. This one can get a little tricky, but how I memorized it is the z-score of 2.5. I add that, or I multiply it to my deviation, which is 20. So 20 times 2.5. And then all we're doing from here is we're adding the number we just got to the mean of 400. So 400 plus 50, that's 450. And we're using the same thing we've been using to find the mean of these numbers. And if we pay attention, we have 2 75s. We can only list that number once in our list. So let me just write these numbers down. We got 78, 75, 77, 70, and 81. So we had 78, 75, 77, 70. Oh, I'm messing up here. And go to our list. We only had 178, but we did have 2 75s, and we had one number for the rest. And remember, we hit list again, go over. The first option, our L2 is already here because we've been using it. We're looking for the mean. Remember, the mean is X, which is 76. Now this one is a little bit different than the other z-score that we just did. So for this one, what I do, I don't know how it taught us, but 81 minus 75 divided by the deviation. So we have 81 minus 75. We have 6. 6 divided by the deviation of 6 is 1. Okay, so I can tell you right now the median is 4, but, just to make sure we're right, we're going to do the same thing. We have 1 through 8, and then we also have the frequencies of 1, 5, 2, 6, 2, 3, 6, 5. So we're going to go to our list, edit. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we had 1, 5, 2, 6, 2, 3, 6, and 5. List 1, 1. What were we looking for? The median. The median. Why is the median 5? Okay, I was wrong. The median is 5. That's why we always check our work. Okay, I'm not reading all that, but literally this question about the students' responses are shown in the frequency data. How many students were involved in the study? So literally all we're doing is adding all the students. And we're not adding these numbers because this is just their stress rating. This is how many students had these stress ratings. So 5 people had 0, 3 had 1, and so on and so forth. So we're just adding all of these numbers. So 5, 3, 1, 18, 15, 18, 17, 24. So we had 5 plus 3 plus 1 plus 156. Last question. We're literally doing the same thing we've been doing. So obviously we have no data on 5, 6, 10, and 11. So we're only analyzing 7, 8, and 9. And we have frequency scores of 5, 2, and 5. Edit. So we're analyzing 7, 8, and 9. And what was it? 5, 2, 5. 5, 2, and 5. List. And they were asking the standard deviation. The standard deviation is 0.95. We're rounding to the nearest hundredth, which is 2 decimal places. So it's 0.95. Let's see what we got. Ooh, I got that one wrong. What was it? 0.91. 5. Oh, because it was 3? Okay, it was 5, 3, and 5. So let me change that here. See, I wasn't paying attention. Let me check that. So yeah, the standard deviation was 0.91. Okay, but everything else was right. If you want to study those, rewind it, do whatever you got to do. But